morning everyone, and welcome to another analysis video. Today we're going to be analysing EU and DXY to see what day trading opportunities there may be. Apologies for the late upload, and I haven't uploaded lately because I've been quite ill, so good to be back and finally recording again. So let's get started. Let's not waste any more time. We're going to start here on EU on the daily, right? We have EU on the top, DXY on the bottom. So what's the daily showing us? So we're on to our new week. Now if we look at the previous day on Friday, you can see we had quite a bullish day, bullish engulfing day. We've pulled right back up now from this sell side liquidity we last took on the higher time frame. You can see we've clearly created internal high highs, right, closing above these previous highs here. But in terms of a POY and as possible resistance, we've come up now, filled this imbalance that was left behind above these highs into this daily order block area. So far we're respecting this order block POY area here on the daily, so we may see some resistance come into the market from this area and maybe continue what was a bearish trend, of course, on this higher time frame. We have left behind, say, POYs a bit lower down below here, such as this daily imbalance. If we look at DXY has the same support areas, right? We have this imbalance with order block. Price hasn't quite filled it completely just yet, so we do have more room to go. And we can see we're quite bearish and bullish this morning, so we may be heading towards this zone here just to fill below the previous daily and weekly low, which would of course provide us with a lot of sell side liquidity and go into that possible support area. And the same would happen here on EU. Of course, we're already in this possible resistance, but if we go on to take previous weekly and daily highs, that'll be some fresh buy side liquidity taken, right, that price may react from and we could see a bearish move from. So going by previous daily candles and our recent momentum, of course, you could say we're quite bullish, but I do believe we're in an area of possible resistances, right? We do have potential to pull back further into these areas here, but that is way into the future. For me, from the daily, I do see potential resistance and potential support forming maybe today, right? It's quite a heavy news week, so we'll see how this goes. So let's go down to the 4 hour. Let's see what that looks like to us. So I'm going to start off here on the 4 hour, just zoomed out so we can see the structure and how the structure has started to shift. We can see we had those clear lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower low. Then price then started to make those high lows, high highs, high lows. Again, going on to make a higher high. So we're closing above our structural highs here. As you can see, we have these new bullish legs. We last week, took buy side liquidity from above these internal highs here, right? And how I'm looking at it is this: we have this bullish leg there, we have a 4 hour POY with imbalance down below here within a discount of this new bullish leg. So if we measure it out, just so you can see that potential discount and premium, we're in this premium area here, and down towards this discount zone here is where that POY sits. So that's how I'm reading price here on the 4 hour. Right, we've been making those higher highs and higher lows. We took buy side liquidity previous week, and price has the potential to be drawn towards these gaps here and imbalances where this POY may serve as possible support to continue this new bullish trend that the 4 hour has created. Of course, there's POYs left behind, say down here, but this is the first area of concern to me. So my bias is, of course, potentially leaning towards that bearish move to come and fill this gap towards a discount from a premium. Right? We have the same POY area here on DXY. We have clear imbalance with an order block there where price has made that lower low. We're obviously in a discount. We could pull back towards this premium here, right? After taking sell side liquidity and partially mitigating this imbalance here. So that's the potential that I see, and as I said on the higher time frame, there's definitely more potential for a bearish DXY overall to come down and just fill these gaps here. So my bias leaning towards bearish move. Okay, pretty much counter trend, of course. As I said, we're making higher highs and higher lows here on the 4 hour. However, I see the draw on price here and potential support later to maybe go for longs. As you can see, we've come up and filled this opening gap here. Right, there was a gap here from the open after the weekend. Price has come up, filled this area here, and potentially we are rejecting it now, as you can see from current price. So that could be that pullback movement we need to come down to this zone. So that's where my bias is. So let's go down to the 1 hour. Let's see if that agrees. Now, of course, here on the 1 hour, the structure isn't going to be any different from the 4 hour overall, right? That external structure is still going to be bullish here. Now, what I will take note of is we took this buy side liquidity up here on the Friday, right? And we have these internal structures here where we've made that high, high, low, high, high into that evening. And obviously, once we've opened up again today now on Monday, price has made that internal lower low or that possible switch of structure here on the 1 hour, right, to provide maybe the pullback to this zone here. So the 4 hour order block with imbalance, 1 hour order block with imbalance in the discount of this overall high time frame leg. So now we see how that works. We see that structure. We've taken buy side liquidity. We may head towards the sell side liquidity discount, POI or PB array if you study ICT. So what has price done? We've opened up, leaving that gap, leaving, I guess, an order block here with imbalance, right? Creating a lower low internally below that low. Price has now shot up during that London Open, come and filled this imbalance here, mitigated this zone, and we are possibly rejecting it now, which may serve as this high, lower low, lower high, to then go and make a lower low down into this zone here where price may be drawn towards our POI in this discount. All right, this zone here I see is a nice zone. We swept that internal sell side liquidity here, made that new high. So draw on price here, and it's the same on DXY. You can see 1 hour order block with imbalance. Price may now make this high, high, low, high to pull back into this zone here, which may form resistance, may form support for possible future bullish price action. We'll see. But to go with my bias and the same on the 4 hour, I think this works out, right, with this POI here on the 1 hour to reject this POI and maybe continue towards this discount here. So I hope that's clear. I hope I'm not confusing you, right, and I've explained that properly. But any questions, just let me know in the comments. So I've got a bullish leg, internal switch now, that break of structure. We've pulled back into this POI here as resistance, and that may provide that resistance and another switch in internal structure to continue down towards this area here. And we have the same thing happening here on DXY as well, coming from all this sell side liquidity here. And then once we're in this zone, we can look for longs to see if that support comes into the market. So yes, I think the 4 hour and 1 hour agrees. Okay, we have our draw on price here. So let's go down to the M15. Let's see what that looks like for early trading today. Now, given the time, this is obviously something I may have to wait for into the New York kill zone hours, right? Because we're coming towards the end of the London kill zone. You can see we took the sell side liquidity below that Asia range here, and we had a bullish move from there, right? Which happens sometimes when we take one side of Asia. We was quite bullish with that move, being attracted to this gap in price here. Now, personally, I didn't long from this area, even though we swept Asia and broke structure, just because I think we had good draws on price below and we're coming from that premium. Okay, so I didn't want to go against the higher time frame there. But now we've come and mitigated this zone here. What would I want to see? Well, I want to see structure form again, right? Maybe we form, say, a low around here somewhere, come back up, possibly take buy side liquidity again from above London, or we don't, maybe make a lower low, but then I want to see that break of structure below that internal low here, right? Give us that break of structure, and then we can pull back to order block with imbalance, right? Which caused that move, that break of structure, that sweep there, to then continue going bearish towards these draws on price here. So this is something that would be good to see, especially with a buy side liquidity sweep. That would be very helpful to sponsor this momentum here and this break of structure. Right, then it would leave behind order block with imbalance there from making a break of structure, maybe around here somewhere. Possible corrective pullback, leaving inducement, which is sell side liquidity below our entry, and then stop loss just above the high, of course. Aiming towards those lows, I would aim for 3%. But whatever meets your plan, right? Something like this is what I would be looking for. There is potential, of course, that price may continue going bullish, right? But I do believe the draws on price in the high time frame with the buy side liquidity has a good chance of heading towards these lows. So you may want to wait for a continuation, you may want to wait for this to hold, break down, and see if you can enter the market again for a safer entry, right? After New York maybe already takes out these lows, if it goes in that direction, so you can get a continuation of the order flow. But if this looks good enough, I'd be willing to get involved, right? You might see some support around these zones here, but that would be where it probably pulls back from. So if we see that, I think that would be quite good, right? Like how we saw earlier here, took that sell side liquidity, broke a structure, pulled back, mitigated the POI, and went bullish. I just need that confirming switch of structure again to go short. Personally, I don't think I would get involved right now, right? With this little mini structure here, if we pull back, you could sell from there, right? The hours, it's a bit too late for me. I'd rather wait for that New York kill zone continuation of that order flow. So I hope that wasn't confusing. I hope that was clear. So I think that's everything from me. I hope you gained value from that. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.